This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Multiple cases of alleged sexual assault within Austin schools. AISD police now reopening several cases. I'll tell you why.
A race to avoid a government shutdown, a bill blocked overnight to prevent that from happening. What's expected today that could keep the government running?
And this morning, we are hearing from the wife of the man who police say ran off with one of his students. The first conversation she had with her husband after his arrest. Wish I could have been in the room for that one. Good Friday morning to you, and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Maines.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. Yes, everyone's here on this Friday morning. The gang's together. But before we check in with Anavid Reyes and a look at the roads, because you've got that, right?
I sure do.
Let's check in with Erica Lopez. Rain is on the way this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend's going to end up to be quite stormy. Today, quite warm outside. This morning, temperatures are warm and muggy as you head out the door. And lots of temperatures in the 70s that did not even cool down into the 60s overnight. Humid for your morning rush hour this afternoon. Very warm. We're talking temperatures in the lower 90s, but feel like temperatures in the upper 90s. That's the heat index value that we're keeping an eye on. Here's your forecasted high temperatures. 95 in Mason, 91 in Austin, 90s across the region. When you factor in humidity with this is what I'm talking about. Our feel like temperatures outside this afternoon, 97 degrees in Austin. This weekend's going to end up to be quite stormy Saturday night into Sunday morning. Saturday during the day, it's actually going to be quite okay, just warm. It's Saturday night where we're tracking some strong storms. I'll break down hour by hour what you guys can expect in the full forecast. First, let's take a look at the roads this morning with Anavid Reyes.
Good Friday morning to you. This is a live tech stop view at Mopac northbound at Enfield Road. Construction is starting to wrap up in this area, so that is good news for you. Green light for most of the Austin metro area. No major accidents or incidents to report. Now, if you're driving in from Cedar Park, 183 southbound, 45 to Mopac, 7 minutes, 10 minutes from 45 to I-35. Guys, back to you.
Anavid, thank you. This morning, AISD police are looking into multiple cases of alleged sexual assault. They're renewing their investigations after calls from concerned parents. KVUE's Corey Coffin joins us live from the newsroom this morning with more. Corey?
Well, good morning to you, Brian. KVUE sat down with the parents of one of those alleged victims. Her father is a police officer himself, her mother a school teacher. They say AISD police closed their investigation too soon after their daughter said a fellow student assaulted her in the bathroom of Lanier High School in March 2015.
What they failed to see is that we had a victim. We have a victim, and that victim needs assistance. And they shut it down based off of their preliminary efforts to go forth with any action whatsoever. We're looking at a system that we have told our children to constantly have faithful trust in, and the system failed us.
And this has prompted AISD police to review 2 other cases as well. The first from Hart Elementary in 2014. A boy accused of a school staff member of assaulting him in a bathroom. Police say, though, that the school video doesn't show them in the bathroom at the same time. Now, the second one is a case of a 4-year-old girl at Boone Elementary. Her parents say she was assaulted in February there, and her parents demanded that the school police reopen the case, saying that they closed the case before reviewing all of the evidence.
Horrifying, because it's every parent's, worst nightmare to think of something like that happening, especially because it's been going on so much lately.
AISD originally did close that case because the 4-year-old didn't provide any information when interviewed. But during a meeting with parents last night, they acknowledged a lapse in the case. The girl had medical records from Dell Children's Hospital indicating signs of sexual assault. AISD police closed that case before getting those records, but they do say that investigators reviewed the records. The DA's office is now involved in reviewing all of these cases and will keep updated on any developments. Live in the newsroom, I'm Corey Coffin. Back to you.
Corey, thank you. Senate Bill 7, or the Pass the Trash bill, would make it harder for teachers who have relationships with students to switch school districts. It's supposed to make moving predators from one district to another a felony. It would also create a database to track those teachers. The bill currently awaiting a public hearing in the State House.
Well, 6:04 is your time. New overnight, a SWAT standoff in Cedar Park ended with one man in handcuffs. It started around 7 last night. SWAT teams were called out to the Muir Lake apartments on Avery Ranch Boulevard near US 183 and Lakeline Boulevard. Officials say a man with a weapon barricaded himself inside one of the apartments after family members called authorities because they were concerned about his safety. After several hours of negotiations, police got the man to come out. Officials have not yet said if he will face any charges. Austin police are asking for your help finding a missing 81-year-old woman. Here she is, Sarah Neal Gray, last seen yesterday around 1 near Burnett Road in Anderson Lane. Officials say they're worried about her because of her medical issues. She has gray hair, blue eyes, was last seen wearing a black blouse, pants and shoes. Gray is believed to be driving a tan Buick that looks like this with Texas license plate BW5T10. Please call police if you happen to spot her.
Tension between the United States and North Korea not simmering down anytime soon. President Donald Trump says a major conflict with the North Korean regime is possible in the standoff over its nuclear and missile programs. But he prefers a more diplomatic outcome. ABC's Stephanie Ramos explains how our nation's leader is continuing to tackle even more issues as his 100th day in office is tomorrow.
President Trump says things may get ugly with North Korea, but he'd rather it not.
There's a chance that we could end up having a major conflict with North Korea. Absolutely.
The president tells Reuters in an Oval Office interview he's making the North Korean nuclear threat a top priority. But with messages like these,
North Korea is a problem.
The relationship with the North Korean regime is only intensifying. President Trump also taking some time to reminisce on his life before president as he nears his 100th day in office.
I loved my previous life. I had so many things going. I actually, this is more work than in my previous life. I thought it would be easier.
What's proven to be difficult? His ongoing negotiations with congressional Republicans and Democrats on a spending bill to keep the government open, differing over health care.
I think we're making very good progress.
Republicans say they would push a short-term spending bill through the House today with only GOP votes. That would keep the government open past the midnight deadline tonight. Democrats say the ball is in the GOP court.
The minute they cast that vote, they put doo-doo on their shoe, tattoo on their forehead. At some point, they're going to have to explain it to their children. What did they do to make America sick again?
A House GOP leader says there will be no vote on any major health care legislation until at least next week. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
Well, President Trump has agreed to speak at the National Rifle Association's upcoming convention in Atlanta. The NRA endorsed Trump for president last May. While campaigning, he frequently talked about supporting the right to carry and against gun-free zones. He'll be the first president to address NRA leadership since Ronald Reagan. The Pentagon is now investigating Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn. They're looking into whether he accepted payments from a foreign government without seeking prior approval. In February, he disclosed that he had earned $500,000 from a Dutch firm with ties to Turkey's government.
State lawmakers have taken a final vote on a controversial bill aimed to ban so-called sanctuary cities.
There being 94 ayes and 53 nays, SB 4 is finally passed.
After 2 days of emotional testimony, the Texas House of Representatives took the final vote yesterday morning, approving Senate Bill 4. It requires all law enforcement to honor ICE detainers. ICE detainers are requests from the federal government to hold someone while their immigration status is investigated. The controversial amendment allows officers to ask someone about their immigration status if they're detained instead of only when they're arrested. Opponents are calling it the Show Me Your Papers Amendment. The bill also heads to the conference now, where members of the House and Senate will hash out other differences before sending the bill to Governor Greg Abbott.
All new this morning, the wife of the Tennessee teacher accused of kidnapping his 15-year-old student is describing her first phone call with her husband after he was arrested. Jill Cummins told Inside Edition that when her husband Tad called her from a California jail, he confirmed her worst fear. He admitted that he slept with the teen as they evaded police for more than a month.
It was very hard to hear his voice after all this time. Not knowing if I was ever going to hear it again. But he told me he was sorry and that he told me he loved me and please forgive him.
Cummins says that she's not going to rekindle their relationship. He's facing a minimum sentence of 10 years in prison. As for the 15-year-old victim, she's spending time with her family and a trauma team.
Toyota recalling about 250,000 small pickup trucks because the rear wheels have the potential to lock up, causing drivers to lose control. The recall covers certain Tacoma trucks from 2016 to 2017. Toyota says oil leak, an oil can leak from the rear differential that could damage components and cause the differential to lock up and stop the wheels from moving. The company would not say if the problem has caused any crashes or injuries at this point, but owners will be notified of the recall by mail beginning in mid-June. It is time now to get a check of our forecast for this Friday with Erica Lopez. Hi again, Erica.
Good morning, guys. Busy forecast indeed in terms of hot temperatures today and stormy conditions tomorrow. Temperatures right now in the 70s throughout the majority of the viewing area, and dew points are on the sticky side. The hill country remain the coolest, but still in the 60s overnight, upper 60s right now, lower 70s for the central counties and eastern counties. Bastrop, you're at 72. Luling, same thing for you, as well as LaGrange. Here's a look at just how much warmer we are today than yesterday. A 23-degree warm-up for Georgetown this morning from where we were yesterday morning. It's toasty out there. Not to mention this afternoon, you factor in the humidity with temperatures, it's going to feel like we're close to 100 degrees this afternoon. That's right. 97-degree feel-like temperatures. That's the heat index value this afternoon. Strong storms this weekend. I'm going to break down what we can expect hour by hour in the full forecast, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Guys, back to you.
We sure will. Okay, thank you. Tomorrow is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. It gives people an opportunity to safely destroy expired, unused, or unwanted medication. During the April 2016 Drug Take-Back, the DEA reported collecting around 447 tons of unwanted medicines. Nearly 40 tons came from collection sites in Texas alone. To check out the locations where you can drop off your medications, just head to our website, KVUE.com. Well, still ahead this morning, a growing problem worrying veterinarians across the country.
Why pet owners are hurting their cats and dogs and what they're trying to get their hands on.
And United Airlines doing major damage control, how they're avoiding a lawsuit after a man was dragged from one of their planes. Also, we're on Facebook Live if you'd like to join us behind the scenes for a little action there.
Come hang out with us.